I called Christina a couple days ago, guys, and I was like, all right, this Zoom call is going to have a lot of people on it, and we're finally releasing the app store. I'm kind of freaked out of what I'm supposed to talk about because we've been talking about it for so long. So I greatly appreciate her for putting all this together. So we're going to walk through on what it does, um, and not try to talk about so much of what it can do in the future, but drop some things that we're really working on. Um, but we still want this. I mean, of course, we want this to turn into a big community where everybody's using it, but that's never my style. I still want a lot of coaches' input, just like they've given us on the SHREDmill, and everything to say, hey, could it do this? And when coaches ask me those questions, I take those input and then go back to software developers and go through all that stuff. And then I come back and say, nah, it's just too expensive, or nah, they said this will not work. So I still want everybody's um, input on it. It's on this call, or who's going to keep using it. I know it saved me a lot with Combine this year, and then I'll get into what it's done with my high school team. So just walk through here, log in and sign up. The first thing we want people to do is log in and sign up. I don't think this is complicated, right? Now you can download the XPE GameSpeed app from the App Store. Okay, so you don't only have to do it on your web-based browser. You can still do it on your web-based browser, but now it's on the App Store. So you log in and you select coach, not student, and then you put in your information and you have an account. Everybody who's probably on this call has already done that. But what we want to get people doing is team and athletes, and we're trying to make this as simple as possible because if you're not profiling your athletes and you have no data for you to look at, for your coach to look at, for kids to look at, for us to look at and help, it's pretty cool because, and I understand how hard this process is. Let me go back. This process is hard. I found out with, not name dropping, but University of Missouri and Clemson, like just how hard it is. And I just said, dude, send me your roster and send me your results, and I'll show you what this app does. And they sent me their roster and they sent me their results, and I had to walk them through signing up the app, and then they did it. And then I didn't do any work. I just showed them the triangles of what their team and data showed, and they were like amazed. They're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, it's this simple. Like, please just get your roster in there with some results and you're off to the races. So first thing we want people to do is add athletes. Um, and you go to um, athletes over here on the left and you click it, and then you click on this add athlete, this black tab, right? Now, the reason why these are saying weakness is explosion, force, form, balance. Don't panic. We're going to change this to explosion, acceleration, and max V. I kind of look at the SHREDmill as being force to form analysis, and it tells you what acceleration zone to target that helps your speed triangle. And I don't want to confuse that with just acceleration here and max speed here. So on ground, it's explosion, acceleration, and max speed. And you can have great force, but still can't accelerate good. And that's what the SHREDmill helps. Oh, well, let's do a force to form analysis on you. Now I know what acceleration zone I got to target to take that force that you have that you can't accelerate. So this is going to change to weaknesses. Explosion if you're weak, acceleration if you're weak, or max V if you're weak. Okay? Don't panic. Nothing new. Add an athlete. The easiest way to do it is just go click on single athlete, right? But we are able to, if you take a photo of the spreadsheet, mass upload for you. Or you can download our spreadsheet and we can mass upload. But like SHREDmill, we're trying to make this easy. If you already have a spreadsheet roster of clients, send it to us and we'll upload them in your app for you. That's how important it is to get the results all dispersed for you guys. But if you click on single athlete, it, I missed one. When you click on single athlete, we missed a little slide here. You click on single athlete, what comes up? All right, Christina, is just where you insert an athlete's information. Now, as a strength coach that has 60 or 70 people, it's impossible. So that's why we try to say, send us a mass upload document. If you click on the spreadsheet upload right here, choose a file, you will get this and you can give us like your stuff, or you take a picture of your stuff. Okay, photo upload, spreadsheet upload. Once when you have 100 people in there, 50 people, whatever, 30, it's real easy to do a single athlete. I normally take my phone and just when kids walk in that aren't on my roster, I say, boop, 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 add in your stuff, boop, boop. And I may add 5 people in a day. We are eventually going to come up with a check-in system that's going to help test athletes a little easier. But for now, just add your athlete. When you add an athlete, he has his height, his weight. Now this is going to be interesting because Christina and we looked at this the other day. She put in one of her sons, and he's a little fast guy, right? But she made up her numbers, and I'm like, let's keep him in there like that. It's going to show that it's a missed test. Okay, but for now, it gives them a profile of if he says he's a receiver, what a comparison does, what a fast one does, and what his goal can be, right? Testing, again, is going to be very important. Right now, if you click on broad jump, 10-yard dash, 40-yard dash, 5-10 fly, 10-10 fly, if you click on either of those, while people are going across, you can voice it in or type it in. But again, that takes time. It's good with smaller groups. We're going to start giving y'all an uploaded spreadsheet for the speed triangle, an uploaded spreadsheet for the thing, because I'm still a clipboard guy. It sounds bad, but I know if I'm out at a session and I just give a coach a clipboard, he will write down the results for me. And then all I have to do is take a picture of it, upload it, and get him his information. Okay. So this upload spreadsheet is going to get better because we want it to be easy to collect data, whether you're using a clipboard or you're using a tablet and punching it in, which it can do, or whether you're voicing it in. So I just know in big groups, I don't know, people tell me I'm wrong. Clipboards are the way to go, and older coaches just understand it. So I can put a coach anywhere with a clipboard and he can write down broad jumps. This is a sample of a spreadsheet that we'll kind of just give to everybody to print out and hand their coaches or they use, but we're going to make that a little better. Okay. So reset all that, add your athletes single at a time or send us a roster. We'll add them for you. And then by the end of this week, we'll have a roster, not a roster template. We'll have a testing template for you. And the first one's a speed triangle. Because let's get the speed triangle done. And the next testing template will be other tests. So all you got to do is print them out and give them to coaches and you can take them if you don't like having your tablet out at the field with you while you're doing this. And it's my thought with testing is, before we get to community is there's instant feedback. If you talk the result into your app or type it into the app and there's a pre-test done, it's very cool for instant feedback. But again, that's probably better for private facilities that have a time with 8 or 12 guys going and me punching a result and look at it and say, cool, man, 97%, you're green. Dude, that was red. Fix it on the next rep or we're not running anymore. Like the instantaneous feedback this app can give you in the color code format. The color code format is 97% of your PR is green. 93 to 96% is orange. 92% other is red. I don't like it when people say, as long as they're above 90%, we train. I'm like, it needs to be a higher threshold to train hard. It's not hard to be above 93% and be orange. But if your whole team is trending orange, they're not fresh. If you have greens and oranges and a couple reds, that's good. But if your whole team is orange, well, they're not fresh enough to train. And that's why we like the instantaneous feedback that the app gives you. I have found working at my high school, when I have 40 kids and I got a broad jump station over here and a fly 10 station over here, I can't get instantaneous feedback. What I want to be able to do is just hand a clipboard to the guy doing the broad jump, hand a clipboard who has a guy who's doing the laser times, and I help coach, and they're just writing it down on the clipboard. Names are already printed out. Everything, the tests are printed out, going to be printed out for you. All you need is a coach to write down the results for you. And I call it semi-instantaneous feedback. After that session, the first 15 minutes is done, 10 minutes sometimes. Take a picture, upload it. Now we'll have an immediate leaderboard on those tests, but the leaderboard will go from best to worst, of course, but it'll be color coded. So right before you start your lift, because a lot of these people now are doing jumping and sprinting before lifting, like we believe, which is good. before they start their lift, you can have a report for the coach. Okay. So that's going to be semi-instantaneous if you take a picture of it to upload a spreadsheet. I'm probably in my private facility when I got combine guys or high school kids, I'll give them instantaneous feedback because it's normally 6, 8, 15 kids in a session. When I got 40 kids, I'm not doing instantaneous feedback. I'm going to have the stuff printed and just, I have my station set. And hey, today part of our warm up is 5-10 flies and broad jumps. Hey, today part of our warm up is 4 20 to 10-yard flies. Like, and I'm going to make sure at the beginning of our day, we do some type of metric for explosive or speed in that speed triangle if we're working on that day. Any questions about that? Because this is what we're really working on here, team and athletes. The videos are going to be cool. Doing everything's going to be cool, but the success of us being able to train athletes is going to be the athletes having results. Coaches know what they are, athletes know what they are, and athletes can then get added information. So if they're doing extra work outside of us, we know what this, we, meaning y'all, know what to prescribe for them so they don't go overdo it. And doing this testing, they can go to another skill session somewhere like they always do. When they come back in on a Thursday and they were supposed to take off on a Wednesday and everybody's in green and orange and they're in red, I can show it to them and say, Bud, you got to stick with our schedule. I don't mind the extra work. It's got to be the right work. But none of that can be done without adding athletes and getting the testing done. Any questions about that?
So real quick, I just put in the chat, we went ahead and added support at xpesports.com for anybody on game speed. So any kind of support questions that you have, if you want to have us upload your rosters, if you're having any kind of technical difficulties, just send us an email and we'll take care of that for you.
Yeah, and I see Mark. Like Mark is, so far we have a lot of coaches using the app, and I think it's at, there's well over 100. I forget what it was, Christina, but tracking more than 14 athletes and some as high as 100 to somebody 300. But we want to help get your athletes in the system because it's a free service for those kids to look at this stuff. And when the student athlete app drops, the kids can come claim their data and look at it and see what they're weak at and get extra drills from a private facility or a high school strength and conditioning coach. He has an immediate answer for parents if he's just doing these tests. It's going to be a report card and progress report as long as you're doing the tests. But that's why we're so big on, we will spend the money and time figuring out y'all, how we can get y'all to upload rosters instead of teaching y'all to do it. We'll do it for you. If you can't do it, just send us the report or a spreadsheet you have. All right. Now we're going to dashboard and community. I think. Yeah. On the dashboard, this is what comes up, like the featured content. Right now it's this. Explosion deficient. Remember, I need to change this to acceleration deficient and max V deficient. I'll probably go back in and re-edit those videos sometimes, but I just don't want to confuse it. Like sometimes kids accelerate, but they're extremely forceful, expressing force in the weight room. They're really acceleration deficient. So we're going to change that. But that featured content is going to be with probably me and pro athletes and training tips by me that I'm finding out with high school kids, once a week. I just shot some I know we got new footage of Anquan Bold and Stephon Gilmore, Mark Ingram and Carl Lawson in there. I just got new footage with Carl Lawson talking about the evolution of training in his eyes. And he's a 31-year-old, 10-year NFL vet, which was cool to hear how much he used to lift and how much he's thinking about different things now. I just did one with Chase Brown, Pro Bowl running back for the Bengals. It was so interesting. I had him talk to my 2 high school running backs for 10 to 15 minutes. And that's my goal is I get Chase Brown to talk to my 2 high school running backs and they're asking the questions. I want everybody that has high school running backs to open it up and be like, listen to what Chase Brown. Good job catching a fish. I just caught a fish. Sorry. I want like other high school running backs to hear what Chase Brown told them and watch it. I'm doing one with Tariq Woolen this week, an avatar receiver who needs to work agility because that's not that he sucks, but that's like ball skills and agility is all he can work on. And I'm probably going to do one with Travis next week. Even though I have Travis on a lot of videos, I want Travis to sit and talk for 10 minutes on, you know, talk to me about what you do at Tight End U. We see the little Twitter videos, but talk to me about it. So this featured content is going to be how I'm trying to live the next 10 years of my life. Since my daughter, who's catching fish, is 10 years old and is going to be at a high school for 8 years. I'm going to work at a high school for 8 years. And I'm trying to bridge the gap from what I do with my pros with my high school kids. And as people that know me, it's very similar. I don't train pros like I don't train high school kids like pros. I train pros like high school kids. So that would be the featured content. There's going to be an ask the community thing here. We'll ask some of our coaches that are, have good followers and stuff like to drop questions in there, and just going to be like the SHREDmill community, but not everybody on XP Game Speed's on SHREDmill. We got to remember that. But this speed calculator is super cool. You select it, you get a predicted 40. If you put in someone's weight, their 2010 fly, their broad jump, and 510 fly, it tells you what their predicted 40 is. So Christina put in 0.93 for her 20 to 10 yard fly. We know that's a 4.3, guys. So that's not right. But then she put the broad jump as 8.1 and the 510 fly was 2.5. So when I was looking at this yesterday, I said, let's keep it in there because the system should work and it should show that it's not really correct, right? Because there's no way someone can run that fast and be predicted at 5.58. Okay. And that's what that triangle would look like. Okay. So I found Scott today. Scott's on this call. He brought his son, and his son's a tall, lean kid, young, tall. And his broad was pretty good, and his acceleration was okay, but his max speed sucked. I'm like, his body type doesn't look like that, right? And then I started warming him up, and he's kind of springy, and he's skipping good and butt kicking good. I'm like, just doesn't seem right, his triangle being so top end deficient. It could be, but it's not. So then I did some top end flies with them 20, 10 yard flies. And then Scott will laugh. And Scott told me, he's like, yeah, it was raining that day. We were trying to hurry up. It was a grass field, probably uphill. I'm like, yeah. But when we redid the 20 to 10 yard test, the triangle became, hey, he's a little bit more explosion and acceleration deficient. So it will give you this, which is very helpful. And it'll tell you what to focus on. Most of these kids that I have found need to work on force, which is acceleration. My whole team at community school, none were explosion deficient. Most were acceleration deficient. Some were form deficient. And they got me there as their speed coach, and I'm still struggling to get them to do speed correctly. Right? So it is a struggle, but it's fun. I've used this data the last 4 weeks of community school to say, hey, can we please get volume on their legs on the field instead of volume in their legs in the weight room? Because the volume of their legs in the weight room is killing their speed. And it's showing us that they're explosive enough, but it's also showing us that none of them are transferring to speed good enough. And that's going to be a discussion I have with my head coach and the strength and conditioning coach, another two different people. We've got to change it. Like for 4 weeks, we've tracked it, and it's just showing us dead in the eyes that we need to work on speed more. And it doesn't mean we have to work on speed more. It means we need to replace some of the volume of leg training, which is killing our speed, with volume of football training after speed, which is what the high school football coach wants anyway, learn football better. But if I didn't have my team in the app doing all this, I wouldn't have known it. I have known that, my combine guys come in acceleration deficient. That's why the SHREDmills worked for years before we did this. So as long as you give us results, you already have a training priority for each athlete, and that lists how your team is set up. And Hoover ripped the data off the app, which was cool, and formed some type of spreadsheet for his coach. And we're going to do the same. Where if you would just want to rip it, because some of these coaches just want to look at a piece of paper, we're going to give you ways to rip the data and just give a presentation to your coach on how your team is built, great, how your team performed that day before they lift, great, and what trends are. Those are the three things we're going to work on that are going to be done very soon, okay, that are not going to be hard. How your team is built is already in the app if you give us your data, okay? Temperature checks, meaning how you're performing on that day, is already in the app. We need to do better at making you put it on the right spreadsheet so we can get it to you within 10 minutes. Okay. And then trends, which I need to be better showing my school. Trends are, how did we perform in a month? What was our average increase, decrease? Okay. And those are the three things that we're going to work on for now. Okay. And just make it super simple to where you push a button. Now, y'all may say, well, I want this and that. Okay. Okay. We'll build that next. Okay. There'll be a lot of stuff you can build, but we're going to try to keep it simple. All right. Again, that was a speed calculator. And we know this broad jump 2'4" is wrong. Right. So it's just Christina kind of playing with it. We love Christina, so we'll let her do that. But we know broad jumps are normally. What's interesting with females, we looked into this and we talked about it on other calls. A good female will broad jump 7 to 8 feet, and over 8 feet the leap. And she may jump 7 to 8 feet when she's 14 or 15. They never really go over that because they get different hormones in their body and gain weight in different places. Where the guys get different hormones between 14 to 17 and put on muscle and not I don't want to call fat, but it's non-muscle for women, right? So women like level out between 7 to 8 to leap. Okay, guys are going to keep going up. So that's why we created this force to form calculator. I don't like. Remember, you got a predicted 40. That's from combine data and a lot of high school data. Goal 40. That's from combine data and a lot of high school data. But that's from a population of men that's 170 pounds to 300 pounds. We don't have much force to form analysis on other populations, but we're getting it. So that's why, like females, once we get enough data in here, will have that 7 to 8 feet as their benchmark, where boys are going to be 7 to 8 feet. But when they go 15, 16, 17, it's going to go 8.5, 9, 9.5 feet as their benchmark. So this is a force to form analysis that's not tied to a 40-yard dash result. Okay, because we still want to help softball players, soccer players, lacrosse players, females. So we want to be able to help them all and not just tie their stuff to a 40. So that will be able to be done if you just want to look at a force of form analysis. Look at that triangle, triangle, video library. So any questions about just what it currently does for you and where we're going to make it easier. When I say easier, it's for guys like me who are like a kind of a strength and conditioning coach at a high school or a private gym owner, I'm both, to present the information to parents or coaches. Instantaneous, it does. Semi-instantaneous, within 10 minutes, I want to get better at, because what we're trying to say is if the XPE Game Speed app can help you control the first 15, if you have an hour, can help you control the first 15 minutes of the workout of what warm-ups you're doing. If kids are doing different warm-ups, that's a bonus if they're weak at something because they're fresh, and what testing you're doing. If we can help the coach at a private facility or high school control the first 15 minutes and get data off of it, and then when they go inside and lift, or have stayed inside and lift because all they did was broad jump, it doesn't matter. We can post a leaderboard for them on a color-coded leaderboard based on PR. We can then tell the coach, everybody's dead today. Like, do you really want to grind them out? Hey, coach, everyone's fresh today. Let's get after it. And we can do that for guys like me at my high school and Hoover at his high school or his private gym. We can do it for Clemson. We can do it for everyone if they just spend the first 10 to 15 minutes doing some sound training principles with, I call it testing is training. It's training. When you jump and sprint, it's training and testing. Any questions about that before I just move on to the other stuff? Okay. Video library, it's just, guys, everything from, like, there's new stuff in there that I've shot all. When did I shoot? I can't even remember. I guess in the fall? I don't know. We shot so much new stuff. And you can browse by when you click on the videos over here, I didn't realize it. You can browse by folder, and all of these like swipe over. They just swipe over. So if you want to look at a folder, you just swipe and look at it. Or you can just go down and they're all there. So, it's kind of built like a website that has, if you're a horizontal reader, you got a vertical. But first thing we put was just cool little video trailers, right? And then we put SHREDmill content, right? And then these are the new 10 commandments. I'd watch them. I haven't changed much over 7 or 8 years, but I've learned a lot. So I have 10 new commandments on there. The Thinkific videos are all here. The 350 videos that taught me everything I knew are all still there. And poor Cam Calgano is organizing them better and better and better every week because we want this to be like the encyclopedia of stuff. And here's Antoine Bolden right here. Like what he was teaching me 5, 6 years ago is golden. I don't want to replace all this content. It's still there to look at. We're just trying to organize it better. This app organizes everything better, but you still get the 300 videos or so. Testing, I do a whiteboard version and a field version to make sure you know how to test correctly. Okay. SHREDmill videos, what I call gear profiling versus acceleration profiling, force profiling, force to form profiling. Like these are all new SHREDmill videos. They're not different, but it's just maybe a couple of new little nuances. Speed warm up, just everybody knows me. I teach people how to skip, butt kick, stiff leg bound, and high knees. That's it. And I make them lunge and stretch in the middle and sprint in the middle a little bit, but I don't do much more than that. So I give you a speed warm up. But then what's key is if we find people that are acceleration or force deficient, these kids or you can do a force deficient speed warm up. You can do a form deficient speed warm up. You can break your kids up, or you can say extra work. My high school group goes Monday through Thursday. I wish we took Wednesday off and went Monday through Friday. We go Monday through Thursday. So they have Friday off. So on Saturday, I give them drills to do based on their deficiency. So now when kids are going to do extra work, they can tell their skill coach, "Well, I do my skill training with you, coach. I got to do my performance deficient drills." Okay. Now it gives us force deficient gear two weights, like different ways to do gear, like what weight programs what weight drills in the weight room help me with gear two, you know? Form deficient gear two weights, force deficient jumps, form deficient jumps, gear three weights. What we have found is if you take the force or form deficiency and target that while people are doing gear two, it gets cleared up and then they work gear three together because gear three is all form and top speed. So there's not deficiencies when you're doing gear three, but there's deficiencies when you do gear two if you want to. And it just gives you suggestions. We're not trying to run your weight room. We give you 5 or 6 different suggestions. You choose one or two that you like that can be done in your room. And then of course we have like new Antoine Bolden footage. And I like how I'm doing the footage now to where I talk to Antoine for like 10 or 15 minutes and the extended cuts on there. Coaches may watch that, but then what I do is break it down for coaches and kids where Antoine Bolden talks about something, then I show the drills he's talking about. Antoine Bolden talks about something else, I show the drills he's talking about. We do that with Antoine, Stephon Gilmore, Carl Lawson, and Mark Ingram. Okay? And y'all are going to see, once when all the pros get together, I'm interviewing them differently. They're all saying the same thing. This is what I wish I would have worked on sooner. These are the drills I wish I would have done sooner. This is what I would have wished I would have learned when I was younger. They're all saying the same thing. And that's what I hope my, not knowledge, my experience with these guys can transfer down to high school players everywhere. Is the pros that everyone's screaming that you want to be like are telling you this is what they wish they would have done earlier. It wasn't drills I created before I learned to listen to them. It was drills I created for them to become a better pro that they wish they would have started earlier. We also do female fort field drills. It's like 17 or 18 drills, which is great. And it's like just a collection of drills to do on field sports. And these girls like nail it. These are the girls that teach my football players how to move at community school. Court footage is I went through a few basketball trainers in colleges about how to do a route tree on a court. Everybody knows the weave. That's great. Well, what about a go ball, a speed out to the 3-point line, a speed out whip to the lane, a speed post corner to the alley oop, a back around? Like all these movements are the same. I talked to Brandon Payne, who trains Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark about it. It's like, he's like, yes, I teach my players to push the court. That's why he bought a SHREDmill, because we pushed the ground to move. And all these angles that these basketball players would need to hit are right there. Any question about the videos? The videos are much better organized now. And all the old ones that haven't gone anywhere, they're still right here, archived videos.
So also too, this may be a good transition to talk about just real quick that anybody who's still on Thinkific can stay on Thinkific for now, but we're trying to transfer and migrate everybody over into this game speed. So that's why we went ahead and archived all of those videos. So you'll still get everything from the Thinkific platform now into game speed. So that way, so if you need help transitioning that account, just let us know.
And the whole reason why I changed the Thinkific to $10 a month is because I was charging people $100 for it, and it was hard to get people to buy it. But every time they bought it for $100, they were like, "This should be worth so much more." And I was like, "Well, if I just change it to $10 a month, they'll probably stay on for more than 5 or 6 months. It'll be worth more than $100." So that account, which is it's not collecting a lot of money, but it collects money every month from people that are being dinged $10 a month that may not even use it anymore. I don't want that. Like, I want everyone to transfer over to a new system, and it will be $12 a month now, but I'll go over that later because it will include much more stuff than just the videos. So, profile groups and testing, this is what we're going to constantly work on. When you go to your profile, this is a major thing. You have to choose your fly, 2010 fly or 3010 fly. Our formula works if you use the 3010 fly. It doesn't matter. Just how are you testing your max speed? What we're going to add to this pretty soon is it's going to say choose. It's going to be speed, or we're going to call it court sport. Court sport is for a small facility, okay? Or if you're training a court sport and you're not training max V, I'm not going to argue with you. I still think you should, but your triangle is going to be explosion, acceleration, and a 180 return test. So with court sports, it's going to be an explosion, an acceleration, and a change of direction test. I still think every court sport should do a speed triangle first, then move on to game speed and change the direction. But if you have a short facility or you don't want to do longer sprints, your first triangle will be different. So you're going to select your first triangle and what you're using as your max speed, your max V fly time. It has a SHREDmill integration. If you own a SHREDmill, if you have a problem with this will pull your SHREDmill data. I don't know if it pulls it every hour or I forget what we decided, or 3 times a day, but it'll pull your SHREDmill data on here. So this can be a super app and store all your data. So when your kid claims his data, he's also getting his SHREDmill data on there. Okay. And it'll help us a lot of programming in the future. Manage groups. You can create groups for athletes. We're going to work on that with people. Like I may have a first period strength and conditioning, 7th period, and it's going to last for 3 months. And then I just need to select people from my roster because I've just added them all in, and then they can be pulled over to a group. We're not going to try to compete with these major data management systems, but we will be able to print out like groups for you. Oh, I need my first period group printed out to do testing. Okay, cool. Click it off once and we'll do it for you. Now you've got your testing sheets for your whole semester. You could say, I need football because I got football all summer. Everybody that's in our roster that had selected football, that would be a football group. So we'll have that for you. You can color code them. And that's Christina's team. She's her mom. So she's your mom's athlete, right? So you name your groups whatever you want.
It's
So
fun.
any
Say like your mom's.
any questions about the app? Because now it's live on the app store, and everyone should get. If you're a SHREDmill owner, you get it for free. I've always like said, when these coaches start paying 1,000 to 1,500 a year, it's like all these companies are trying to get you at that price and then add more and more into it. And I've seen it, and I can't keep up with the fees I have. We're never, when someone buys a SHREDmill and they pay to be on the SHREDmill community and all that, we're not charging them more than that. This app comes completely free for all SHREDmill owners, even ground unit owners. It comes for free. We just want y'all to use it because it will integrate all your data and let you communicate with your athletes better. But for people who don't have a shred miller yet, it's going to be $12 a month to have access to all the old videos, the new videos, and also how to track one athlete. So it's made for like the parent who wants to track is that one kid, or a coach who wants to look at all the content and not track anyone. Okay, and just play with the track. And that's like our new $10 a month program, but it's $12 a month. But then for $59 a month, you track unlimited people. So if you're tracking more than 3 or 4 people, if you're tracking 100 people, it's only going to be $59 a month. And it kind of becomes a management system for your whole team of up to thousands of athletes for $59 a month. Any questions on that? Okay. I'll let y'all maybe ask questions before I get into the ground unit. If all you were on here for was game speed and not SHREDmill or ground unit, you may want to get off. Oh, let me exit out. There we go. Okay.
Tony, Ty Lawrence says hi.
Oh, hello, buddy. All right, I worked a lot on this one too. Okay. We finally got the ground unit. We've had quite a few people put a deposit down, and I'm kind of betting my savings on this like I did the SHREDmill, where we're going to make 250 of them, Christina.
Yes.
My whole goal with this was to create something for the price of a run rocket with the quality of a 1080. That's hard and impossible, but we came close to it. Price is a little more than the run rocket. I think it's 3,900.
It is 100.
And then the price may go up, but it's 3,900. And the technology and everything on it makes it like a 1080. I just want to go over with it. The only reason why it's 3,900 and not 3,000 is because we added the capability to go super heavy and super long and light because I thought it was worth it. So the first one is when you're on a SHREDmill, you really are training gear 2 in a weight room or gear 3 in a weight room, and you're using that weight room for gear 1, which is explosion. If you have a ground unit, you can be in the weight room doing the same thing, but normally a ground unit's out on the field with space. So you do have a gear 1, which is force. And you're going to have 3 settings for force that you can track. And it's going to be gear 1 light, medium, heavy. If you want to track all 3 of them and get what we call a SHREDmill ground force profile, you can. Okay, that's our force profile. Okay, or if you want to pick one to track for body weight, we're going to leave that up to y'all. Okay, I'm going to put my powerful guys at the combine on gear 1, heavy as it can be. I'm probably going to put my top high school kids on gear 1 heavy. I'll put my lighter kids on gear 1 medium. I'll probably put light kids on light. Okay, but what it's going to do is I'm going to build the gear 1 to track you for the first 5 yards of your movement. So if you go 7 yards and it doesn't matter. It's going to cut off the graph in 5 yards. Okay. Now you can play with it and just do 2 steps if you want to against heavy resistance. And when you stop, it'll cut it off. So you can do it in steps. It says 1 to 5 steps or your first 5 yards. Extremely heavy, max resistance loads. Purpose is drive horizontal strength needed at the start of any linear sprint. Used for initial drive steps, first 3 steps or first 5 yards against extreme high resistance. Okay. And again, I suggest, if you have a SHREDmill, your whole roster will go right into this and it's going to work in the same app. No increased fee. Okay. Gear 2 is heavy acceleration. Nothing changes here. Okay. It's going to be choosing 20 yards or 5 seconds. We programmed a setting in there that's a progressive load. So if you can't get it to 9 or 10 miles an hour, or you're extremely fast and don't get it to 9 or 10 miles an hour, you choose gear 2. If you get past 12, 13 miles an hour, you choose gear 2 heavy. So it's just one setting gear 2 or gear 2 heavy, you don't have to manipulate loads, and it will dose in this mile per hour target on everyone. Now, everybody always asks, like, why does a SHREDmill work? Like playing with all the, like, you don't have to be a scientist. Like, this is a dosing in 9 to 13 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour for athletes that run 16 to 18 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour that run 17 to 8. Like, it's going to dose it in for you. Okay. But that's the steroid for acceleration. They have found that with studies that that's the speed you want to be training at for the best force velocity profile determination. But we're doing it for you to where you don't have to do all the thinking. Okay. Now, if you chose gear 2, then of course you choose gear 3. If you chose gear 2 heavy, then you choose gear 3 heavy. But it's going to work the exact same way. You're going to do it for 40 yards or 5 seconds, trying to be 3 to 4 miles an hour over that. Okay, less than 3 miles an hour, you're deficient in form. More than 4 miles an hour, you're deficient in force. So and let me go over one more. Force a lot now on gear 4. We played with the spring a lot. We can sprint. The rope can go 60 yards, but once when you get 45, we start progressively loading resistance so you can't get past 55 and break it yards. But you can sprint 40 yards and get the speeds of 90 up to 95% of your max V. Okay? Which is super cool with Gear 4. So if you have a ground unit and not a SHREDmill, or you don't even have lasers, you can warm them up, put everybody on Gear 4 on here, and get their max V. Now, it won't be 100% of their max V because you have a little bit of resistance because of the tether and the spring. But it'll be within 90 to 95% of their max V. So if you have a girl running 18 and a guy running 22, you'll know it. Then you go back to gear 2 and you just select which one puts them right in between their 50 to 65%, and the app will tell you. So it's going to be good and easy to train all gears outside on the field if you want it. I'm going to use my SHREDmills and ground units together, and I'll get into that in the training applications. All right. Gear 2 versus Gear 3 diagnostic rule. Gear 3 speed should be 3 to 4 miles an hour, and Gear 2 speed. We have figured that out. It's a very good way. Instead of acceleration profiling, just let's dose in a heavy acceleration and a light acceleration and look at the relationship, and we know what to target. Okay. What I like is what you can train: linear speed, right? First step, gear 1, gear 2 and 3, gear 4. We talked about that. Change your direction, like qualities, is you can work on lateral speed, crossovers, back pedals, all that stuff. 3D power development, you can do side bounce, skate hops, broad jumping, return to sprinting rehab. Nothing's better for a guy with a pulled muscle to still work on sprinting against resistance. Okay, so we can do that. What I like about it is this ground versus SHREDmill. SHREDmill is a controlled environment. You really fix a lot of shapes on the SHREDmill, and you accumulate high volume of quality sprint reps. If you're doing gear 2s and gear 3s in a weight room, you're getting good volume of quality sprint reps. Okay, it builds acceleration and speed potential by putting the body in the best position to produce power. You can work on shapes with the SHREDmill like nothing's like it. SHREDmill or ground, it takes the principles and outputs built on the SHREDmill and carries them over to the ground. You get to use your arms now, which is great, but you apply the same force and mechanics in real sprint environment. Use together. I'm going to have them together. I may sometimes, in a performance circuit, if we have gear 2 set up, I may go squat, broad jump, instead of a prowler sled, do some gear 1s on the ground unit, and then go to gear 2. I'm going to do everything I can to potentiate a force deficient athlete's force before he gets on gear 2. But if someone's form deficient, I may let them single leg squat. Y'all get the script. Double leg broad jump, then do SHREDmill, and then do a gear 2 on the ground unit, which makes them use more form in gear 2. So having a ground unit and SHREDmill together will help you target deficiencies on and off the SHREDmill. And that's what we've been doing with other resistance running devices for years, but we haven't had it programmed in a lot. Now it's just going to be a lot easier to program it in and look at progress because it's going to be the same app. Before I get into the 2 resistance modes, any questions about the ground unit? Because deposits are rolling in, and we want to make sure that everybody gets deposits, has the first batch. But it's taken a little longer than I thought because we found out a way to make it super heavy and super long and light. And it's it's portable, but semi-portable. It's about 120 pounds, I think. So one guy can pick it up and put it in a hatchback or a pickup truck. It doesn't fit in your back seat. Oh, it does. It fit in your back seat, Christina.
I was about to
So
say, I know for a fact it fits in the back of a four-door sedan.
a
So,
little Kia, like
yeah,
a four-door Kia,
it
but
does.
it's meant to roll around the field and move and get to a field, but it isn't as small and as light as I wanted to. But I decided for more quality and semi-portable than less quality and portable for the price point we were charging. With that said, any questions about the ground unit before I go into the two resistance modes of the ground unit of what I've already talked about?
So you touched base on the price, Tony, the 3,900, when you said that we are going to increase the prices. This original batch of 250 will not. So you don't
Mhm.
have to worry about that. So even though we did make adjustments that technically did make it more expensive, we're keeping it at the price that Tony said originally. So y'all don't have to worry.
Yeah, I was trying to make it for less than 4,000, but then as everything happens, it's like, well, for this much increase, you could do this, this can do this, this can do this. And I was just like, yeah, we got to do it. So I didn't want to make the price go up for the first initial buyers, but the price will probably be 4,300 to 4,500 when it's all said and done. Okay. So now with this module of the SHREDmill ground unit, what I like is resistance mode one. This is what I'm going to stick with because I'm a simple person. I'm going to use SHREDmill's gear styles 1, 2, 3, and 4 because it's going to track within the app. It's going to be nice and simple. I ain't got to learn acceleration profiling. Don't have to change anything. I've got gear twos programmed in today. I'm doing gear twos. You know, I've got gear ones into gear twos for some people, gear twos into gear threes for some people. Cool. It's saving it all for me. I ain't got to think about it. Okay. If this using this revision mode is best for coaches who want to keep things consistent, you're using the same verbiage they already know with the use of the SHREDmill. Resistance mode two is like what everyone does. It's 10 constant resistance loads. There's 10 loads, and the heaviest one is hard without a pulley added on it. Like it's hard. Okay. So it's fixed resistance set that gives you full control. You can do your own acceleration profiling, do whatever. It's best for coaches doing individual acceleration profiling, sprint testing, want to maximize flexibility and autonomy over training load. Right. So it works with both. People are going to ask me how it works. I'm going to say, well, if you choose resistance mode one with the SHREDmill app, I've got to teach it to you. It's not hard. But if you choose self profiling, not to be rude, go use it. You know, you can still collect your data, you can still get instant feedback, you can still save your graph. You're becoming your own scientist here, which works. We're trying to be the scientist for you here so we can train more people efficiently. So, all right. So that's it for now. Catfish? Awesome. Okay. So now let's open it up for questions. And we do have some new SHREDmill owners on here, but I can stay on longer and answer questions for them. But becoming a new SHREDmill owner, like the XPE Game Speed app is part of the package now. We really want you to learn that because it enhances your experience so much. And the ground unit, I think, is going to be one of the best values out there for speed training because people are making this stuff complicated and stuff is getting expensive and everyone's charging you $2,000. And when you start paying it to 5 or 6 companies, that's a lot of fees a year you're paying. We're trying to say if you pay us one fee through SHREDmill, you get everything that I ever create for that price. No question. Come on now.
Mark pointed out that the shred mill and 2 ground units will be the sweet spot.
Well, the SHREDmill and ground unit is going to be about $19,000 which is the same price as some resisted running devices out there that are very complicated to use, which are great, but most of us aren't in track. We're in training athletes of all sports and in groups and trying to get stuff done, no pun intended, fastly. And this will help. So I'm going to have at XP, I'll have 2 shred mills and 2 ground units and be fine to do groups of 24 to 40, like when I'm needed. I just gotta, if I get up to 40, I gotta, it's just gotta get with the weights. I have 2 shred mills at community school. 2 is much better than 1. Like I have found that. I always tell people 2 is better than 1, but 3 is not that much better than 2. 1, you've got to get creative. When we do 1, I sometimes say, hey, our skill, like with the football coach I have now, I'm like, okay, well, the guys that are strong enough on their squat, and I got to give them the ratios for that. I say 1.3 pound your body weight if you're a freshman, 1.5 times your body weight if you're a sophomore, 1.7 if you're a junior, and 2.0 if you're a senior. So now my guy who loves squats, he still gets to test their squat out every January. But if they're strong enough, they get to supplement some of their squats with shred. I was like, I don't need them to do 6 sets of squats in this session, 2 warm-up sets and 5, 4, 3, 2, or whatever you want to program. If they're strong enough, they're going to do a couple of heavy squats, but they're going to do it as squat, jump, and shred them. So that's how I thin out the use of my shred mills at my high school. Is not strong enough, go lift, and we'll get on the shred mill when you can. Strong enough, we squat, we jump, we shred them. Okay. And then our big guys who, I don't, speed's important to them, but not as important. I let them do the shred mills on their upper body days the next day. And it's just like they've got the upper body day, and our big guys all during their day, that upper body day, have to get 4 sets of gear 2 in. And it's just a way for me to work on flow, but however you do the flow is up to you. Any other questions or anything? Tell me something good. Let me call out something. Josh, are you at a high school now, Ross? Or are you just private training?
I'm using a high school as a private facility.
That's the best way. Don't
Yeah.
have that damn cost.
Todd said if I come coach as quarterbacks, I can use this. I can use the shred mill. So no brainer.
Then it's a no-brainer. That is a
And
no-brainer.
I'm taking over his track program as well.
That's awesome. I mean, that's why I took the job at the private school in Naples. They said, "Can you take over our strength and conditioning program?" I was like, not really. I can't have a full-time job. They're like, well, can you monitor it? I said, yes. Can I use your facility for when pros want to come train in Naples? They said, yes. I said, then this is a no-brainer. I guess I got a job for 10 years I didn't want. So,
That's exactly how it worked out here.
yeah, that's awesome. I, I, I will give people, if they're owning private gyms, I'll help y'all as much as I can on how to run the private gym business. Those are tricky. I like the low-cost garage gyms like Jeff Gerard or basically Hoover has a garage gym that's just about 3 times the size of a garage in a little in a center. But those are the best kind. Are using someone else's facilities to run your business. So, um, good old
Just
Jeremy Harrison will prove the big box model, or he'll die trying.
real quick, I see Scott McCready on here. I should know something a little bit deeper from what we talked about earlier today about your issue. So,
One thing Scott's having a problem with, guys, and we didn't know if it was a problem or not. It didn't happen on my app today, but you should be able to have your username and password for SHREDmill logged into different devices at the same time. If you're having a problem with that, let us know. Because we thought we fixed it. We don't know if we fixed it on Scott's for some reason, but we fixed it on mine. Because I go to community school or XPE and I use my login on 2 running SHREDmills at the same time. Now, this is a big deal for us because when you get a SHREDmill, you're going to use your same login. So we need our tech team to make sure that multiple devices can log into multiple units. Does that make sense? With the same login. And once when you start getting multiple shred mills and ground units going at the same time, we need that to work. That's what Christina's talking about with Scott.
Yes. I mean, for anybody who's a shred mill owner on this call, like, if there's a problem, we definitely want to hear it. I mean, it doesn't feel good when there's a problem, right? Even on our end. But a lot of the changes that we make to the app and the updates are because of what we hear the feedback for. So it is important, right? Like Scott had a problem logging in into multiple devices on his one user account. Like that should never happen. You should be able to log into it however many you want. So if you're having any issues, let us know. And then
Yeah,
for
and,
games, like I really, really want anybody who doesn't have SHREDmill but is on GameSpeed to ask a lot of questions to that support email, because we want to help carry everybody through the education of it. So it's not going to be any good unless people really use it. So we want to help.
and like Joshua Ross or like the private facilities, it's like if you just go charge the school $150 to do a team session, right? Or whatever you charge, 150 to 250 is normally the going hour. But if you did their broad jump and fly times and then they all got a free account to look at all their data, it's like you're an instant resource to that team, you know? And all of that's for, like I said, $59 a month. Okay. And eventually where we're going with it is, I know Mike Brown will like this because I needed to at community school, is we're going to allow you to add 2 coaches so they can collect data at the same time and internally brand your apps for like a very small fee more. So when kids start claiming their data, which we want, it's not XPE's data, it's your data. It's like your logo powered by us. So it's a way to use for any school or private gym to own their own app, basically, and branded as their app. So when the kids are using it, it's branded as theirs, powered by us, but all for a price of like peanuts compared to what other people are charging. Like we're not trying to, again, kill the coach is what these. I don't, I don't look at coaches as money makers. Like we are all helping athletes that change the world. So like I'm trying to give the best resources to it. So with the app is going to come the way for you own the XP GameSpeed app. Oh, you need to add coaches to it so you can get more data in there. Great. You want to internally brand it as yours? Great. Because I want kids that start claiming their data to see the brand who got the data. It's you too. It's like y'all the coaches too. So in that way, like none of these coaches have to develop their own app or pay exorbitant fees to have their brand, not mine, their brand pushed to their athletes and students. Anything else? You want to say hi to everyone? You just caught some catfish. You smell like a catfish.
I didn't even hold it. I just like.
Lord, you can definitely shower tonight.
I didn't.
Okay, fine. Jesus. All right. All right. I'm tapped out if nobody has any questions, but I appreciate y'all. And it's been there for like 6, 7 months. And again, every SHREDmill owner gets to keep using it. We want feedback from it. We hope that it does entice some people, of course, to buy a SHREDmill or a ground unit, because then it becomes your speed solution, your agility solution, your tracking solution, your visual solution to I see that good. Your visual solution for parents or coaches. It will become it all. We are getting videos of the ground unit. So the one that I used and perfected up in Chicago like 2 weeks ago is going to be sent down to me in Florida. Richard, I will. I'm going to play with it at community school, and we'll get some videos emailed out to everyone that filled out a questionnaire about it or that they were interested. And Richard, I'll be bringing it over to Fort Lauderdale for a day or two working with the MLS players. So just stay on top of me with that one.
Real quick, I'm so sorry, but did you mention about the parent account? I know we took that slide out, but did you mention about the parent account?
Well, it's really the student, a
Yeah,
student athlete that's on the login page right now on XP GameSpeed. You set up a coach's account. Once when a student, you get a student gets data on him by one of y'all, the coaches, he can also go claim it to look at it. Okay. And when he claims it to look at it, it gives you an instant report card for that student and parent. So that's what we're going to release next is okay, you got data. The student athlete portion works now. So a student athlete's got to now download the app, right? Downloads as a student, punches in his name. Oh, Joshua Wallace has data on you. Mike Brown has data on you. You want to claim it? Yes. He claims it. He can't change anything on it, but he claims it. So he can look at his updates, he can look at everything, and he can get some free information of like stuff to do. That makes sense. And then eventually what I do want to do with kids is like once a month host this is going to be my podcast. Sorry if I'm ruining it, but it's going to be a pro athlete talking to kids on a private like channel like this, to where kids that are on the app and like I can say like, Chase Brown or maybe Travis Kelsey is going to be online for all student athletes. Y'all want to ask questions about how I train, jump on the call and do it. You know? So that's what I want to do with student athletes is get them on the Zoom call once a month, like I do coaches, and just try to help students be directed, hopefully, the right way, in my opinion.
we're still deciding on what to call that, but it is happening.
Yeah. So. All right. All right, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Most of y'all have my number. If you don't, I'll drop it here. Hold on. Still small enough as a company to do this, Christina. But people aren't bothering me when they text me like a quick question because I can normally answer it real quick. They're also like I got a question from Jared today. He texted me a question and it was a long text, but he was dead on. So I just called him for 5 or 10 minutes. I said, "You're dead on. You're correct. Like, let's just talk out why." And we talked for 5 minutes, but it helped put him at ease. So I don't mind if people have questions like texting me because I can answer that all the time. And if it requires a phone call, I call like almost right then. Or if it requires like a 20 or 30-minute Zoom, I'm like, okay, that's a very deep question. Let's set up a Zoom call. But don't get too far along on something, doubting anything. I normally am telling people, oh man, I thought about that, but yeah, that was too complicated for me and I tried it and it didn't work. I just went back to doing it this simple way. All righty. Thank you guys, everyone.
Wait,
Go ahead.
the private Zoom calls too, like the 30-minute, hour-long ones are really good for coaches who have multiple trainers at their facility or schools also, right? So whether you're on the game speed side or SHREDmill side or both, that's the best time. So that way you're not having to communicate all this information that you're learning to 6 or 2, 3, 4 other people. So those calls, that's the best when you can get your whole group on there and then everybody's on the same page.
Yep.
Okay, I'll stop talking.
Yep. Oh, I'm good. All righty. See y'all later. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Tony.
No problem. Thank y'all.